Hey everyone, DC here, and welcome to Wells Artist Fireside Chat, where we talk about everything art, NFT, and crypto related. Today we're going to be with Arsenic Lullaby. This is our, second or third time here. He's a writer, an illustrator. His work has been seen in Mad Magazine, The Tick, one of my favorites, Comedy Central. He is the most level-headed and funniest guy I know in the NFT scene. Additionally,
level-headed. I can't say I've ever been called that before. This is a first.
Well, we'll get to that. Why I think that. But yeah, I mean, we call him a Well Family BA. He's creating some amazing art. He's helping people in the community in the Artist Cafe. Welcome, Douglas. I'm really glad to have you here. And now that we have my long-winded intro out of the way, let's talk about...
You could keep going on with how great I am. Look,
he's amazing. He's amazing.
ComicCon International is online only. And normally this time of year, there would be crowds of people telling me how great I am. So, my ego needs to absorb whatever it can get right now to make up for that deficiency.
All right, we need to bring this. We need to bring the community in. I'm going to get on Stream Text. I want to see Stream Text lighten up and saying how amazing Arsenic Lullaby is. I want to see it. So let's see it.
Yes, my massive ego has been enabled by fans coming up in person, and that's gone now. And all I can do is, occasionally look in the mirror and tell myself I'm great, which doesn't have the same impact, but it's still something.
It feels good though, the greatest thing about having someone there to see you, every morning is you, right? I mean, you tell yourself and then you feel
you're better. Okay. Everything's great.
Everything's great.
It's under control.
Everything's under control. Oh man. But so tell us about this. So this is International ComicCon, right? This is what we're talking about today. This is the biggest Comic-Con ever, right?
I think so. I mean, it kind of fluctuates. I think there's one in Japan that's technically larger, but ComicCon International, that's the crown jewel. I think they get 160,000 people over the course of 4 days. The convention center is 7 city blocks long, and it's just packed. Everybody is packed into that building. If they've written or drawn a comic book in the last 30 years and they're in the game, they're in that building, even if they snuck in.
That's insane, because the only Comic-Con that I've been to is the one in Montreal. Have you ever went to that one?
Maybe.
It's super small. Okay, I guess they had like a little one in Vermont, but that one doesn't really count. That was like a homegrown one, but
Yeah.
You had Shatner, okay? You had Shatner.
All of them. I think he was in my wedding footage somehow.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, the guy is everywhere. But yeah, so this is a big deal. This is like the biggest one aside from maybe the one in Japan or maybe the one in California or something. But this is like it's international, so you got everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's actually in San Diego, and it just brings in people from all over the globe. And this is the one where you'll have, your Harrison Fords, all the movie stars will come and they'll do a panel and then get the hell out as fast as they can. It's really something to see when it's live. This year it's online only. Because of course, there's I don't know if you heard of COVID, but there's this thing called COVID that kind of screwed up a bunch of stuff.
It did kind of.
Did it get over by you? Did you hear about that over there?
It's come by me a few times.
I don't know if that was just a local thing or what.
They mention it once or twice. They they talk about it on the news. We don't pay attention to that, but
right.
they talk
about that again.
So it's a big deal, and so you usually go to these things and usually do your thing, And tell us, okay, for those who haven't been to a Comic-Con, tell us what you usually do. Like, what's your thing there?
Okay, well, for the past, I don't know how many years, I've been going, and I have a 10 by 10 booth with a giant banner, and I set up the comic books and artwork, and people who already know of my work come and say, "Oh, you are so great, don't ever stop." And I say, yes, I am, and if you're lucky, I will continue. And then other passersby, we just try to introduce them to my work and the books, and then it's all just a blur. It's just a 4-day blur of a massive crowd filtering past your booth and stopping, and you talk to like 400 or 500 people a day that are complete strangers. It's bizarre.
So it's like you're chatting, you're signing autographs, you're selling stuff.
Yeah, I'm sketching for people, and it's like being in another dimension almost.
Right.
It's just a dimension where you're cool.
Like
and then when it's over, you fly back to your hovel and you crack the office and you draw some more stuff so that next year you can be cool again.
Oh, I love that. It's the dimension that you're cool in.
The dimension where you're important.
Everyone needs that, though. Everyone needs that dimension, right?
Yeah, well, in other jobs and other professions, you get that intermittently, through the year. Hey, good job on this, or nice work on that other thing, or a client congratulates you, or maybe just a customer says, hey, thanks for helping me with X, Y, and Z. But I'm just in an office, man, like drawn in front of a piece of paper for 360 days. I need those 5, then I just get that 5 days all at once, just a deluge of, oh, great work. You really? Because this matters? Oh, yeah, this matters. People read this. I forgot.
People like it.
I forgot. This goes out into the world. It's not just the same 4 gray walls.
Oh, man. So this has been, and this is, I guess this is the part of the interview where we get a little bit deep, right? So this has been a little bit challenging over the past year, right? So last year, what happened? Was there like no Comic-Con?
There were no Comic-Cons at all last year. There was one in March in Chicago, and then everything ended. And then there was nothing. Not nothing. I mean, there's still stuff going on and whatnot, but there were no Comic-Cons. There was no personal interaction with anybody, and it was strange, bleak. And the weird thing is, you don't really realize how much of a connection you make with other illustrators or just other exhibitors. A guy who's there selling T-shirts, or a guy who's selling action figures. You see him 12 times a year at conventions for 4 days in a row. You develop a relationship with that person. You learn about them, and you have conversations, and you joke around about stuff, and then everything ends, and you're like, well, that was a waste of my time. I'll never see that asshole again. I could have been talking to anybody.
I laugh, but yeah, it's kind of sad. You kind of want to see that asshole, right?
Yeah. Well, all the time I invested in that relationship, I'll never see him again.
Yeah.
What a waste of my time.
Oh, man. So, but this is how Shatner did his NFTs, right? I mean, without the Comic-Con, he would have never done them on wax. So,
yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah, because he seems like the kind of guy who needs, I'm not talking out of school here because I've admitted the same problem. He needs a lot of positive feedback. It seems like he needs a constant flow of "you are cool." So I think without the conventions to go to, or anything else where he can just crash and show up because he's William Shatner, no one's going to tell him to leave. He found something else. To do.
Oh,
and good for him.
Yeah.
You got to say this about the guy. He's forward thinking.
He's forward thinking. And you know what? Yeah. So are you, though, because you.
As am I.
As you are. So we're getting back. And this is why. So over the past year, you didn't have a Comic-Con. You took that time and you did some other things. And what did you do? You made NFTs, right?
Yeah, I started working on NFTs, and it's just an amazing medium and an amazing community, and it's just it's a lot of fun, really. Everything about it. The community is fun. Learning new things is fun, and trying to figure out what new elements you can add to a piece and how everything works now. And like there's a whole language to it, an NFT, as far as timing goes, because if you've got the composition, if you make a regular painting, there's certain rules of composition that are going to work visually. But with an NFT, that composition can be constantly moving. So there's all sorts of new stuff to learn and techniques to try out. And so, yeah, I started doing that. It's I'm glad, to say the least, that I ran into this.
Now, was it because of the lull of what was happening in the real world that actually led you to doing the NFTs?
That's tough to say, because I think I started just before everything went to hell. and I am always kind of looking for what's the next thing, and I won't say I get bored easy, but I always like to be moving forward. Like, okay, this is fine. I got my hands around this. What's another way I can convey an idea? What's another way I can tell a story or a joke or what have you? What's the next progression of a medium? So it's likely I would have gone along this path anyhow, but who knows? I don't know. Can't say for sure.
That's crazy. So it really wasn't this crazy virus that's been taking over the world that we hear about, just so often. It could be fake.
In the peripheral, it's mentioned once or twice.
It could be fake. It could be real. Who knows? It seems pretty real to me, but so it wasn't that.
The effects on my life certainly have been real.
they have quite real. So it's so you missed out on ComicCon last year because of this thing. You got back in. You got kind of more into NFTs, I'd maybe say. Is that accurate?
I mean, it's a toss-up. I mean, there's no doubt that everything shutting down certainly narrowed my field of focus.
that sounds about right. That sounds about right. So now, so fast forward to today, we have a Comic-Con that's a little bit different. Tell us about that.
Well, it's ComicCon online, which to me, they're doing the best they can. I mean, it's a tough situation. How can you take a 6-city block convention center full of everything you can imagine and then put that online? Because a lot of it is about the experience and wandering around and seeing stuff you didn't even know existed and being annoyed by the crowd and pushing your way through and having, even being irritated is part of the experience. Like, would you get out of the way? I gotta go to the bathroom and get my ass back to the booth. Even that, I mean, as frustrating it is, that's life, man. That's energy. So they're doing it online, and they have like a lot of online panels, and they have the website set up so that you can go to each of the exhibitors and see what they have going on, what they have put out this year that's new, and that sort of thing. And I guess that's really about the best you can do as far as transferring one to the other. But that is what's going on.
Okay, so
that rambling summary.
All right,
to suffice.
So in my head, I'm picturing, the cosplayers. They're dressing up at home. Maybe they got their cams on. They're going.
Maybe. I forgot about the cosplayers getting in the way and knocking your stuff over because they got a giant Power Ranger monster suit on and it knocks over half your display. That's always fun.
Right?
6-year-old kids dressed like Darth Vader, just running as fast as they can for something and slamming right into your table while you're drawing. Yeah. That's fun.
Like the tiny Darth Vader, instead of slamming into your table, they're slamming into the camera. It's knocking the camera down.
Yeah, right. They're knocking the camera over. They're annoying their dad. Yeah, I guess they're doing as best they can at home, dressing up and getting on Zoom or something.
So it's different, but we're innovating a bit.
Right. We're all making do. We've assessed the playing field, and now we're moving forward. We're moving forward.
We're moving beyond. We're getting into this digital. I want to say metaverse. Verse. With flashing lights and cryptocurrency. No, I don't know if they want to introduce that at their show, but they should.
They should. They really should. Because I would take it. I'd accept it.
Hell yeah.
Fiat currency. What is this? $1? I don't know what this is going to be worth tomorrow. Get this out of here.
That old. What is it? Oh, you said fiat. I can't remember. It's been so long since it's been born. But that old thing that's nobody really uses anymore, but pretends to use. I mean, I guess they still accept that, right?
I don't know. Pieces of paper. What is this? A piece of paper? What am I supposed to do with this?
Who uses?
I push this into my hard drive. Get this out of here.
Yeah. Who uses paper? I don't know.
I don't have a slot for this in my hard drive. What is this?
Everything's on credit, and everything exists virtually, right? And I'm using my hands, but you can't see it because I don't have a camera. I'm too poor to have a camera. But so this is new, but you're also, so they're innovating a bit. They're having ComicCon in this virtual space. There's virtual cosplayers. I don't know what that looks like yet, but hopefully that'll be cool. And then, you have do you have like a virtual desk? Are you sitting there? Are people talking to you virtually? What, like a space?
No, because, not to be catty here, but this is not an industry that's big on innovation.
Okay.
So they're way behind the NFT world. Like we had Consensus where we were in an actual metaverse, an actual virtual world walking around. We had our avatars and all that. It's nothing like this. This is just, you click a link and you get to my website.
Okay. I mean, they got some room to grow.
They've got a lot of room to grow. And I'm not pointing fingers and blaming anybody because they didn't know if this convention was going to go on or not. So I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
It takes a lot of planning to set up a virtual world or to figure all this stuff out. And if you're up until 4 months ago thinking you're going to be dealing with 160,000 people in real life, you're not really putting all your eggs in the metaverse basket, although they might want to start doing that anyhow. Just a little advice from me: you might want to get your beak wet on that because it's a lot of fun and it's the future.
It is. We had a blast at Consensus. I had to, unfortunately, I had to miss your. That was the only day I missed, unfortunately. But I was some weird half mechanical whale, and I was creepily in the background recording the thing and not talking. So that was cool. But it was cool. It was cool though. Right?
It was fun figuring out how to make an avatar and all that.
Yeah.
My avatar just looked like, I just made it look like a friend of mine.
Okay.
You just made a person? You can make it look like any of this. This looks like just some guy. Well, that's what I did. I don't know, whatever.
Well, I guess that's like any game that I play. So I played the massively multiplayer games over the years, and you're making your dude, and your dude somehow looks like you. Like you could be anything, right? You could be like a cat or some kind of troll or something, and you make it look like you. I mean, what the heck?
Right, well, that's a template your brain has to start with, and you give yourself a curly mustache and you think you're really blowing past the lines. Look at this mustache I put on me though. But it's just you. Yeah, but that mustache, it's got the big curl. Dude, you could have been an orc.
You could have been an orc. I mean, how badass is that? You got the teeth. You got you have the sound. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have horns. Well, I didn't think of that.
I know. But so they're not going crazy. They're not innovating. But You are. So, and this
Yes,
this is what
lead by example, perhaps.
lead by example. So we're making history here. I don't know. Anyone's watching this right now is going, okay, what are we talking about here? We're really talking about history, right? This is
oddly enough, I believe so.
I believe so. This is going to be now. Okay, take notes, people. I got people in the chat here. They're looking. They're talking. I don't know what they're saying, but they need to start taking notes because this is the first NFT at a ComicCon, right?
At ComicCon International, I'm an exhibitor, so I have my space there. And this is I've searched because it seems baffling to me that I'm the only one who thought of this. The first, and I seem to be the only NFT available that was made and going to be minted just for this show.
All right. So I got to ask you this. Did you use Google or DuckDuckGo? Because DuckDuckGo is not always as good as Google. So we...
I went on their site and I searched through what all the other exhibitors had and what they were going on. And nobody else thought it. No one else is doing this. Are you kidding? Okay, fine with me.
All right.
Fine
all right.
I'll be the first and only. That's fine.
Do they even know what an NFT is? That's the question first.
They didn't seem to.
Okay. So we are making history here.
Yeah. I filled out the little form and sent in the thing, and they were a little fuzzy on what it was.
Well, that's okay though.
Which is fine. I mean, they got their plate full. They got their arms full already. But Comic-Con history, comic book history, art history, NFT history, somehow converging onto the Arsenic Lullaby brand.
All right, this is awesome. So this is like you're the first one going to the International Comic-Con. You've been there before. You're doing your thing, and now you're doing it NFT style. Tell us what you got. Show us what you got, or give us a pre. Do you have a pre? Am I supposed to say that?
No, yeah, you can.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you the story of this particular NFT. And you can go to arseniclullaby.com and see a better example because I don't know how to change my screen without crashing this thing. But Arsenic Lullaby number 2 came out, and the printer just murdered the cover. I had a transparency that an image was painted on, like an old animation cell. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And then behind that, I had like a swirl that was hand painted with a brush, big, fat, thick brush strokes. And it had a really cool effect because you had this flat, cartoony image on this sort of lumpy, painted swirl background. And I sent that to the printer, and the printer peeled the two of them apart and shot them individually and then put them back together and color corrected both of them so that they would match.
Okay.
So all the contrast was gone, and it was just a muddy mess, basically. And it was heartbreaking. Hey, there it is.
That's it. Okay.
That's what it was supposed to look like before the printer murdered it.
Okay.
See what you see there? It looks pretty darn cool. But the printer faded the hell out of that swirl in the background so that it was the same pink as the zombie fetus there. And so it just, I'm like, what have you done to my masterpiece?
Can we go back? So let's go back a bit.
Yes.
So you said zombie fetus, right?
Yes, that is correct. Everybody who did a spit take there, that's what that is. Okay. The character introduced in that issue, which has become a fan favorite, is named Voodoo Joe. He's a witch doctor, but he just lives in the suburbs of Chicago. So he's really just sort of an average jerk who happened to become a witch doctor. And he takes a very just pragmatic, like, this job sucks. I'm just going to do the bare minimum to get through it. And he needed zombies, but he didn't have a lot of room, so he just made zombie fetuses to which doesn't sound terrifying, but they will swarm on you.
Listen,
like bees, like angry bees.
It sounds practical though, because
yes,
he's a practical person.
It's practical. It gets the job done. You don't have a bunch of full-grown zombies just wandering around your living room like
they take up too much space.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, goldfish, right? You feed them, they get huge. You got to get a new tank. No, the fetuses make more sense.
Exactly. You just keep them all in the vegetable crisper at night, and they're good. They'll keep forever.
See, this is why I said you're the most level-headed guy.
Yes, you got to take pragmatic problem solving. It has to be handled pragmatically. Even when you're a witch doctor.
Hey, you're coming up. You got to think about these things. You didn't want to be a witch doctor, right? It just fell on him.
Right, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, if it just falls on you, it's like any other job. You try to figure out what to do. You don't have a lot of space in your place, so you gotta make do. You gotta the fetuses make sense. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Every job is fun for the first 2 weeks, and then it sucks, and you're just trying to get through to the weekend, and that's what he's doing. Look,
you gotta get by. That's all it is.
I'm not digging up a bunch of bodies every week with a shovel.
No,
I'm not doing that. What can I do here? What do I got at my disposal?
Who does that? Who digs up? I mean, come on. Even a witch doctor.
Right, exactly. And plus, we're living in a first world country. Most people don't die now until they're very old. You don't want a zombie you have to help up the stairs. That's not scary.
No, that's not scary. I mean, can they even walk upstairs? We don't even know.
Right, exactly. They need a nap all the time. Another nap, really.
Yeah, it's just too much to take care of. It really is. So the fetus makes sense. so you created this. You had some printing mishaps, which it doesn't happen when you're doing an NFT, right? Because it's digital.
Absolutely.
But you're doing your thing.
One of the greatest things about an NFT is all the colors, every last pixel that I put on there. Boom! It's there. It can't be murdered by a printer.
Oh man, that's awesome. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit more about this. I mean, what your process? I know that. So if you don't know, so I know because I've talked to Douglas before, but his process is crazy. I mean, you go through it. You're an illustrator, so you go through and you illustrate. You're very detailed. I've seen a lot of your pieces, and I'm just baffled by each one because you're drawing them all by hand. And then you digitize it, and then you animate it, and it's really labor intensive, but it's really skilled and just next level stuff, in my opinion. So tell us.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, that's very kind of you to say, and I'm thrilled, seriously, that you appreciate it, because a lot of work does go into it. For this piece, what I wanted to do was, first of all, not have the colors murdered by a printer. That was step one. But I thought also, like the cover as you're looking at it on your screen now, I'm pretty proud of that. That's a good looking image. But even as a static image, it doesn't convey everything that I wanted. Like it's the best you can do with a static image. But You're not seeing the eyes swirling, the blood's not dripping, the background behind them isn't swirling. You can do your best to convey energy and convey movement and timing and rhythm. But in the end, it's just a static image. So what I did with this is, I added some animation. I got the blood dripping. Ike, that is this particular zombie fetus's name. His eyes are swirling, so you can see that that he's hypnotized. The background is swirling, so it's got all the energy and charm that I originally envisioned when I did the cover. So in order to do that, since the original is long gone, I might have burned it out of frustration. I don't remember. I think I might have, because I remember being very unhappy. So I had to redraw it everything, re-ink everything, but this time do it in layers and cells. And I got one here-ish. Okay, so like,
let's get
okay,
you.
so there's Ike right there. Obviously, he needs his own layer, and that's drawn by hand and then inked with a brush, which is, it's time-consuming and painstaking, but it gives it a look that you can't really get with a different tool. Then, of course, you got the sleeve, you got a couple of versions of the hand, and then here was the fun part. Here's where the madness comes in, is you got the blood drips.
Oh, wow.
I think there's 10 of those, but that really doesn't tell the whole story because it's just trial and error, and I'm hand drawing the bastard. So if something goes wrong, guess who gets to draw 10 blood drips again until you've got a giant stack?
So this is like, okay, so you kind of blew my mind here. Let's take a second, just because I'm selfish and want to ask my own questions. So you have layers. You're drawing layers. So I'm used to digital art. That's what I've been doing for a number of years because I used to make websites and whatever. I don't think of myself as an artist, but I think of Photoshop. I think of layers. But you're drawing layers. Like you're actually drawing layers on a paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in my day, a layer was a layer.
A real.
You had another piece of paper with the thing on there. That's what a layer is.
But this is how the software developers came up with the idea of layers, right?
Yes, you're all welcome for that name.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why it was named that, because of people like me who started in the Stone Age, who wouldn't understand what that term meant if they gave it something that made sense.
Holy cow. But it's blowing my mind because I'm just going, okay, I click a button, it makes a layer, but you're like hand drawing it. I can't do that. I can't draw stick figures. I don't even know. Like, I got thrown out of kindergarten for not being able to color in the lines, to be honest. I should admit that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, you're drawing it and then you're doing it digitally. That's pretty bad. This is why I said you're like the whale BA. You're the whale badass, really.
Well, let me put out just a PSA here. I don't recommend doing it like this.
Okay. So
I mean, it's got its charm, and I've done it this way a long time, so I'm pretty quick at it. I'm not much slower than on a computer, but I'm certain there's a better way, and if there is, I would recommend you take the better option than redrawing 52 pages of blood drips.
But it's cool. It's cool how you put them together. That's freaking awesome.
It's got. I think it's got a different charm when you do it like that. Not better or worse. It's just different. If you want an old school look, the old school tools will certainly give it to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like and I think this is why your art is super popular in the space, but also in the RL. I guess I know I sound cool right now, but it's no, but it's true. It's like you got this flavor that you don't see often. I mean, people are using Procreate, they're using stuff, but you're actually illustrating the stuff by hand. And then you're going in and you're doing your digital thing afterwards, and yeah, you don't see it. And I think that's what draws people in. To be honest, just being honest.
Well, yeah, I think that's the case. I mean, Arsenic Lullaby is sort of a strange carryover in a way, because even in comic book IRL, there aren't a whole lot of people who still do it inking with a brush. A lot of that's just being done right onto the computer or onto their pad. So it's sort of a carryover, not just into NFTs, but a carryover into how comic books are being made. And I think that gives it a unique kind of charm that it is a unique voice that has some appeal. I like to think.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't look like anything else out there.
No, it doesn't. And
you see an Arsenic Lullaby piece, it's unmistakable. Like, yeah, that's an Arsenic Lullaby. You're not going to confuse it with anything else or anyone else's work.
No, you're not, and that's what I love about it. I'm just going to be a little bit honest here. So me being a nice guy.
Oh dear!
It gets me in trouble.
Dear.
It gets me in trouble. But there was a particular piece that I wanted so bad. Well, actually, two of them. One of them we're still holding on to, but there was a particular piece that I wanted really, really bad of yours, and I decided, we'll let the community have it. So you're welcome, community, because it was pretty awesome. I'm actually trying to pull it up here.
Are you talking about the whale Kong piece?
Yeah, I loved Whale Kong. Okay, and
I'm proud of that one. That took forever and it was murder, but I'm really proud of how it turned out.
Dude, it was freaking awesome. I mean, come on, it's like it's one of my favorite pieces of all time, and that's like the biggest regret here. I'm probably sure like there's somebody in the community that's going, okay, well, I'll sell it to you for like 3 times what I bought, But if I could find it here. We'll put it on screen, but yeah, we'll keep going for a second. I can do 2 things at once, I promise. But yeah,
I can just talk about myself while you're looking. That's not
no.
Don't even think that's a problem. I can talk about myself all day.
All right, I got. I'll
just show you. Hold on a second, people. Here's what the brush looks like that I use. That little guy there is what I do all the inking with. So. There it is.
There it is. Okay, so did you use that brush? Okay, let's.
I use this. Yeah, that exact brush I just showed you.
Okay, let's see it up close. Let's see it up close. Okay, I got it a big screen. It's in high def. Everyone's looking. Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yeah. Here, let me put a pencil up next to it so you can see for scale.
Wow. Come on. I mean, this is okay. Okay.
And I know that's the brush because that brush has a little piece of blue tape on it, so I know it's the one that is still good and doesn't fork out like a snake's tongue every time I try to put a line down.
And you use that brush to ink this.
Yes.
Yeah. And wow. And I remember you telling me back, it was months ago, but years in the crypto world. Okay. People say this. Yes. And if you don't know this, you haven't been in the space long enough. But yeah, the crypto world moves about 5 or 6 times faster than IRL. Haha, I said it again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you were telling me that you actually inked. I don't know if you see. Okay, you see my mouse there, but you inked some stuff behind the. So this was another layer. These fiat. Love these things. These fiat planes. You inked some stuff behind it. Like you had inked everything, and then you put the layers on top.
I inked the entire like cityscape without the planes on it, because I know the kind of madness that I have. And I knew I would want to move the planes, I would want to shift them because I wanted to be sort of a, thick spiral pattern, but not too obvious that that's what I'm doing. And I knew that was an element that I was going to move things a quarter of an inch here and there for like a week and a half before I was happy. So I just drew the planes on a completely different layer. And there's like a bunch of air conditioning, that plane in the lower right-hand corner. There's like a bunch of air conditioning vents that I hand drew and in very tiny letters wrote whale on the side of, all sorts of details. And then when I added the planes, I'm like, well, that was 20 minutes I didn't need to spend because there's a plane covering it now. Well, great. There's probably a good hour's worth of work just covered up by planes for no reason.
Man, I just remember seeing. So I lurk. Okay, I don't talk a lot, but I lurk into the art cafe, and I saw you posting the pictures of the this particular piece, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And then of course I let it go. Okay, you're welcome, everybody. I let it go. I would buy this 1,000 times over, but trying to be fair. Okay. But yeah,
nice guys finish last, my man.
yeah, I know. I
Because
maybe
nobody cared about you. Those were all gone in like 5 minutes.
I know they were so quick. I know that other people in the community were we were all kind of trying to get this piece for sure. But I gotta say this one and the follow-up piece that you did is just insane. I mean, it's really good, and you know why it's good? Because I sat in VR, and a lot of people haven't seen this yet because we we released it at Consensus, but we haven't quite got to the place where we're going to be with it. But I sat in VR and I looked at the follow-up piece of this right up close, and it was awesome. It is freaking awesome. Yeah, I'll send you the link if maybe you could go into that gallery. If I don't know if you have a headset or anything, but yeah, it is spectacular seeing it up close and just the animation and everything. Just wow, like it's crazy. But I must have.
Yeah, like you said, the NFT world moves years for a day, and I think that's true for all of us NFT artists too. Because just in the last year, we've all gotten so much better. I think. I mean, the stuff I was looking at a year ago, I go, "Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a neat technique." But now we're seeing people who fully understand the techniques and how to use them to do other things. You know, like before it was, hey, I can move something like this. And that was the piece. The point of the piece was this thing can move like this. But now I'm seeing pieces where that's just one element and it's being used to help another element and being used to help another element. Like people now understand the tools they have to work with. And now we're really, all of us are just getting better and better. And every time we put something out, it's light years ahead of the last thing we did.
I know it's crazy. I would say that we're headed to a new type of renaissance. Honestly, we're just starting. It's like the beginning of it. You know, people talk about it in dark alleys. What's this NFT thing? But I actually think we're headed to this type of renaissance that's going to change the way we think about art and the way we display art. And yeah,
it's true. And there's when I say there's things you can do on an NFT that you can't do in any other medium, that's completely true. I'm finishing a piece now for Josh Blaylock, does Devil's Due Publishing, one of the other few people from the comic book industry who have figured this out and are moving forward. And I'll show you just a little screenshot of this to kind of show you what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, here, let me put you up on the main screen. There we go.
Yeah, let's flip back here.
Oh yeah. Okay,
so you got these guys, right? And then there's a little guy in the middle, and then you got this space in the background, stars and stuff. Okay, now with an NFT, right, with what I'm able to do, I can adjust the timing of when somebody sees something. So like this is a really complicated piece, and it would be really easy for something to get lost, right? Like visually. But with an NFT, I can brighten something up. I can put a flicker here and there. I can decide when the viewer sees what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if everybody is the same tone to start with, and I change the tone on this guy, right? I brighten him up just a little bit. Not even an obvious amount, but just enough for the eye to catch it. I know the eye is going to start there. And then I can have this guy's ray gun flicker. And then I can have a little shine on the coin here. And then I can have some flickering going on here. And I can lead the eye around the piece in the order in which I want to, just by changing little tones and adding little flickers that are almost imperceivable. Right.
You can't do that on that, you know, like a comic book medium.
You take like H.R. Geiger or Dolly or I'm at a loss for the names now, but take some other artist, Michelangelo. If he could, I'm certain he would have been changing the lighting on different figures to have your eye go around the painting in the order he wants to, instead of
Yeah.
having somebody just look at, say, the Last Supper. You're going to start by looking at Jesus, and then you'll notice a couple other things, and maybe that's about it. But if he could, imagine, have St. Peter just change just slightly, so you start there. And then you go and you notice something in the background, maybe a cloud moves in the window behind him or something. So you're leading the eye around in the order in which you want, because you know eventually they're going to look at Jesus because he's in the center of the composition. So, I mean, that's sort of the problem with flat artwork is the eye is going to go to the center. It's probably going to start at the center. And if you're lucky, it'll start to take in all the other details. But with this, I mean, just changing the lighting, just changing tones or adding a spark here and there, I can have somebody's eye moving on that painting where I want them to, in the order I want them to, and noticing what I want them to first.
Oh man, that's so cool. And to give everyone an example, I'm just going to pop it up on the screen here. This is exactly what you did with this particular piece. Again, one of my super favorites. And this is what I was telling you. I was looking at this, and it was huge. Like, I had the headset on, VR headset. I was like sizing it and stuff inside VR, and you could really see the detail. It's so cool to see up close like that.
Well, and this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, because
yeah,
this image here, these two little guys, it would be really easy to just lose them altogether, or to only look at them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even if you had a comic book page, let's say, and you had one panel of him throwing the thing in, another panel of him raising his arms, and another panel of the guys looking back at you suspiciously, you're not still in that same moment. You know, time is marching on, but here you're in that moment, and different things are happening in a specific order, so that you're seeing them, you're taking them all in without feeling like time has progressed that much. You're just sort of there in that room with them, and I can have those people be really small. I don't have to have the camera zoom in on them, because I know they're the only things moving. You're going to see that. You know, I don't have to pull back to those guys because that's where you are. I don't have to zoom in on the candles to get you to notice them. You know, I just have to adjust the order in which things happen to give it a nice rhythm. And I don't have to overly emphasize on anything.
No, you don't. And you're right. You hit on, like, this perspective is like you're actually in the room, and they're looking back at you, and then you're kind of watching. Like, you could sit here and watch us over and over and see every little detail, the candles flickering, the guy throwing money into the pit, everyone kind of, you know, the one guy looking back, the other guy looking back at you. I mean, there's so much going on here, but like you said, you're in that same perspective. You're just looking straight. You don't have to move the camera. You don't have to zoom in. You're just
exactly. Yeah. Not having, like, if this is a movie, you would have to zoom that camera in to see those little guys. You couldn't have a movie screen where somebody is that tiny and nobody would notice it.
Yeah.
It would be lost, or maybe they'd be squinting at it, but everybody would be focused on the foreground. And once you move that camera, the whole mood changes.
Yeah.
Because I've placed that camera there for a specific reason, to put you, the viewer, at a certain level. And if that camera moves, the mood and the feel has also changed. So I can establish the mood with the camera shot and the perspective I used, and I can just leave it there. That mood can just exist, and I can still have other things going on that are going to be noticed. And that's something you can only do in an NFT. And that's just, you know, I haven't just cracked the surface, and so is everyone else. We're just starting to learn all these things that we can do that you can't do even in a movie.
It's 100% true. And so this is why it's so fun. Okay. Because, you know, viewers of this, guess what? We're going to blow your mind here, because imagine that we're going to all put it together. Okay. If when the ComicCon people find out that you could do this. I mean, think about I'm
glad I got a head start.
Yeah, you got a head start, the history being made, but imagine when the people the people that go to Comic-Con, and imagine when they see that they can collect something like this versus something, I mean, a lot of people like physical stuff, and that's fine. Maybe they could do both. I mean, there's so many options here, but imagine if everyone at Comic-Con knew about this, everybody at Comic-Con would be making this, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, some would be. I mean, you're always going to have your Luddites.
You're always going to have
your Luddites, and you're going to, in the comic book industry, again, not to be catty, although I know of what I speak, there are a lot of people in there who are just content to do the same thing over and over and over. And that's the extent of their creativity. They're skilled, they're talented, but the creativity is there. They started drawing Spider-Man when they were 6. They're 48 now, and they're still drawing Spider-Man, and they're okay with that. And hey, that's great. But there is also a segment in the comic book industry that's edgy and exploring and looking for something new, and they're really only in the comic book industry because that's all they know. I'm an illustrator. I want to tell a story. Comic books, I know what comic books are, and I'll try to put my imagination and my ideas into this medium. And I think once that segment of the comic book industry starts seeing NFTs and what NFTs are capable of, you're really going to see some interesting stuff going on, because these are people who are working in comic books because that's the best medium that they know of to put their work out there.
Right.
But really, they're capable of much more, and probably envisioning much more, much like I was with that cover. Like in my head, there was much more going on than that static image. And there's a lot of people, I think, in the comic book industry who have a lot of not just talent, but imagination and forward thinking. And the more of them that find this out, the bigger it's going to get, and the more fantastic things we're going to see. And then the people who collect, I think the same thing. A lot of them are going to say, wow, this is new. I've never seen this before. This is a new way of collecting something. I want in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know people. I'm not one of them. Okay, so I enjoy reading the digital comic books on my phone, and then I put it down. I'm not a physical type of person. Like I take it or leave it. I live in a house. I gotta have stuff, but I'm not a material person. Like my dad was. Okay, he was a collector. That's why I understand collectibles. My parents are into antiques. They did antique business, whatever. They love to collect things, and I've never been a collector. But when it came to digital stuff, that really resonated with me because I like computers. I'm a computer dude. So when I'm collecting digitally, I have my space around me. I'm free and clear of my stuff. I don't have stuff in my garage and all this, in boxes or whatever, but I have it in my digital wallet. And I imagine there's a lot of people like me out there who grew up with, I'm not young, but I'm not old, it's like I'm in the middle here. And, we didn't grow up with computers, but then I got computers and I said, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And now there's a lot of us out there, and there's a lot of kids who don't have they don't have physical toys. They play on video games and they do stuff like that. So I imagine that, there's a lot of us that love comics, but we don't like the physicals. So just like 100 of 100. Like I could see myself buying. I still have my Marvel cards. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I have my Marvel cards in the garage. They're sitting in the garage collecting dust. I look at them from time to time. But the thing is, I would want that comic. Like if I had 100 of 100 of a comic book, I would want that. Like this is the first edition. And then I knew that this technology was going to be going for years and years and years. And I'm saying, okay, you can't do that anymore. Because my grandfather used to work for a printing company, and he used to print out the first editions of Spider-Mans and stuff, and he used to read them and throw them away. And if he had those, we would be very rich right now. But still, you threw them away. But this digital thing, you could pass it. It doesn't take up any space. It's all in this magic cloud, this magic blockchain. And so if the blockchain exists, then you have your stuff. And if I just imagine that this world is gonna grow, and then people, younger crowds are gonna be like, yeah, I want this. I got my cool thing on Fortnite, that I don't own, but now I'm gonna own it, and they're gonna love that kind of stuff. And then, collectors, like the real collectors at Comic-Cons, are gonna be like, holy crap, why don't I have MetaMask, and why don't I have these NFTs?
Yeah, and I don't think that's as big a bridge to jump as it would first appear.
Yeah,
because like you said, there's people like you and me who right away said, "Oh, wait a minute, I can have this, and it's not in my garage."
Yeah, it's not
in my way. But the other thing is, I was talking to a friend of mine who collects original artwork, and he started to understand the value of it in it's safe. I'm not going to accidentally spill a soda on it.
Yes.
If it's sitting in my basement, it's not going to get mildewed and mold stains.
Yes.
It's not. If the basement floods, it's not. I haven't lost $10,000 worth of original artwork.
That's right.
So, I mean, he was kind of talked himself into it. He's like, well, I don't really I like owning the original stuff. Like, I got that stuff in the basement, and then the basement flooded. Oh, wait a minute. The basement flooded, and I lost. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get into this NFT thing. This is starting to make more sense. I don't have to worry about my basement flooding.
It makes the most sense because it's accessible. You can transfer it like the speed of light, right? And you don't I got friends who have a bunch of comic book type stuff. I mean, he's buying swords, he's buying axes, Lord of the Rings crap and Star Wars memorabilia. He's got two storages. He can't even have it in his house. He has two storages. Yeah, I know
people. They've got a storage unit for all their Marvel action figures.
What the hell?
What are you doing, man?
Why do you have a storage?
You have too much stuff at that point. I'm not breaking bad on you because you like this, but once it's spilled over into a storage unit, what is the point?
What's the point? Yeah, I mean, and look,
if you want to display something differently, you got to drive to your storage unit, look through all the crap, go get that action figure, drive home, put it on the wall. Yeah, it seems like a lot of work to change what your office looks like.
If you're allowed to, like this guy, he has it in the storage because his wife won't let him have it at home. So it's like he goes to the storage, he picks it up, he goes, cool, I got this sword from Lord of the Rings, and maybe he does a couple sword moves, and then he goes home. He puts it back in there and he goes home.
That's the saddest story.
That's a sad story, right?
I love that story.
I mean, but he could have this badass NFT, right? At a comic, like the first ever international Comic-Con NFT, he could have that. And then he could be like, hey, wife, check it out. It's on my phone. It's in my digital wallet. Now, once we're there. I mean, he could take it with him anywhere. He could open that anywhere. He could be in the bathroom. He could be, over in Ireland if he wanted to be traveling around, and he could open it up and go, hey, check it out. I got my badass NFT from Arsenic Lullaby. The first ever Comic-Con, International Comic-Con NFT. You can't do that with your Gimli axe.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not going to take Jack Kirby's splash page from Fantastic Four number 21. You're not taking that anywhere.
No.
You're not taking that anywhere. You're not showing anyone. That is locked up probably in the bank if you're smart, or in a vault. So, people say, well, what can you do with an NFT? What can you do, man, with that page of original artwork? You're terrified to even open the portfolio with it in there.
Absolute. And
you're smart to be terrified because that's a $10,000 piece of paper.
That's a $10,000 piece of paper. And my grandfather, he's 80 years old this year, and he says to me, he's a smart guy. He's he's well off, whatever, but he's got a lot of art. And he says to me, tell me about these NFTs. I told him about them. And he goes, well, the only thing that's going to make this thing actually work is if you could show it to your friends, you know, because he likes to show stuff to his friends. I mean, come on, if you got the kind of, you know, you're showing it off, right? Yeah. And I said, wait a minute, you got the digital photo, like those badass digital photo frames that you see everywhere, like the high def 4K, whatever. You have your phone, like if you have a piece of art at your house, you got to fly your buddy who you're talking to, who's like 3 steps away. You got to fly him to your house just so you could brag that, hey, you got this art in your house, or you send him a picture over Facebook or whatever. But you're already doing that stuff. You're already bragging over digital items. Why not actually own the digital item in your own wallet? And then you could brag to your friends, hey, you don't have this in your wallet, right?
Well, yeah. And another thing about that is, if you're collecting original artwork, it's not going to be too far in the future. If you're collecting artwork, period, it's not going to be too far into the future before you don't have a choice, man. Because everybody's working digitally.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to drive down to an art gallery and buy a physical painting.
No.
Or you're not going to be able to go to the convention and get the original page from the book that just came out, because it doesn't exist.
Right.
It's only digital. So if you want to collect that artwork, it's going to be the NFT or nothing, brother.
That's
because we're moving forward here.
We're moving forward, and that's why it's so interesting, because you're paving the way for the ComicCon. You know, I think that ComicCon has a little bit to learn. I grew up in California. I get the San Diego is like the big deal, right, of ComicCons, and I think they have. I'm going to be honest. They got a lot to learn from what we did at Consensus. I think that
absolutely,
that would be so cool for the fans, especially right now, to go into something digital like that, go into a virtual world and like hang out, go to virtual galleries, maybe having virtual like desks and stuff where you could actually interact with your favorite artist, you know, stuff like that. But they got a lot to learn. So I think we're paving the way, man. You're doing it.
It was funny because when they did Comic-Con online last year, you know, it's basically a similar thing. And people were talking like, well, am I going to be able to walk around? How is this going to translate? Because I can't walk around. I can't talk to people. I can't see things. And then Consensus happened, and that's exactly what you could do. No,
yeah.
This is exactly what you can do. You can put on the headset. You can walk around, you can see new things, you can talk to people. It's out there. It's happening right now. All of that infrastructure is available.
We're in it. We're doing it.
It's not if we could. It's you can.
You can.
Actually, you can. And actually, it's happening. It's just happening over there, and you're not looking in that direction.
You're looking at it goes back to like the fiat, right? You're looking at a different direction, like the traditional markets and all that. You're looking at that direction, but you're seeing it's hard to be in both worlds, because you're seeing the future, but you're also seeing the past, and you're seeing a lot of people stuck in it, and then you're going, but it could be so cool.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, but it's also, I mean, there's shameful joy in it.
Yeah.
In the sense that, by the time you figure this out, man, I'm going to be so light years ahead of you.
I'm already there.
Right. Like I was talking about Josh Blaylock. He's already got like a little virtual comic book store where you can see his books and get whatever. He's already got more going on than Comic-Con International has.
That's so cool, though.
I mean, him and I hit the ground running, which is funny because we both started at the same time in comic books. Like, he and I are like OGs of indie publishing, and now we're OGs of NFTs. But he's already doing stuff that major comic book conventions haven't figured out. Like, I can already go on into a virtual world and have more fun with the square footage that Josh has assembled than I can with New York City Comic Con's online stuff.
Oh man!
Like, get your act together, people. What are you doing?
What are you doing? We're already there. Come on,
you know. Granted, I'm a forward-thinking type person. I'm going to be a little bit ahead of you.
This is true. You have to be, though. You have to be.
Because I'm an Indian, I don't have a choice. If the ship's sinking, I'm going to get my ass to that boat first and be gone. I'm out the door. Nobody's looking out for me. But even having said that, I think we're in an era now where you got to get your act together or you're gone. You're done. You're left behind.
You are, because we're becoming a world in this early stages of a world community, because we're so online. We don't go out as much. We don't, we're always looking at screens. I just watched a thing on the news saying, hey, you better get your eyes checked, but it's like, that's what we're becoming. And you're right. I mean, it's you got to keep going. You got to keep innovating, or you're just going to get left behind. And I'm sure after you've started this NFTs, now you're looking and you're saying, look, I could animate this stuff. I can make this stuff look, like you said, you could do all this cool stuff to it, make someone's eyes go where you want them to, stuff that you couldn't do before traditionally. And you're looking at these other people doing this old, dinosaur stuff, and you're going, dude, come aboard, man.
Right. And because, the thing is, people are going to find this stuff. The metaverse exists.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
People are going to find it, and they're going to tell other people, and they're going to start going there. Once it exists, you've crossed the Rubicon. It is there.
It's there.
Once it exists, and it's better than the thing that was before it, it is now just a matter of time.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. It's just running out the clock now. And I don't know. Whatever, they do what they want. I'm going to be on the clean end of the stick.
Well, I'm excited for you, because like we did say, you are making history here, and it's like it's going to be a thing. I mean, this is just the beginning. I know we've been in it. Yourself and myself have been in it for a while now, and it's like, wow, we've seen it grow quite a bit, and now we're just. I know that it's going to get bigger, because I know all the stuff, a little bit of the stuff going on behind the scenes. But this is the beginning, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, well, it's better than the last thing, and so now it's all downhill. Now it's momentum. Here we go. And I'm delighted that the first NFT is going to be a zombie fetus, and people are going to regret that for generations. For generations, they're going to regret that I got there first.
I love it.
It's going to be a blight on everything. I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled.
Oh man. Well, I kind of want to be selfish here and say, after you do the ComicCon, maybe come back on and we'll talk about the zombie fetus, and we also want to see the finished piece too. Maybe give us a little recap of how it went and what your thoughts and takeaways were from it. I hate to put you on the spot, but
no, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always game for coming on and running my mouth. You know that. You don't have to ask me twice. Don't even think about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Happy to come back and show off stuff. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, any way it goes, it doesn't really matter to me, because it's too late. I was first.
Oh man.
Nothing matters after. I mean, there's moments in life where you think to yourself, nothing matters now.
Yeah, I know.
When we went to Consensus, and you went and you looked at all the guests, and there were billionaires and developers and blah blah blah, and then there was the little Arsenic Lullaby zombie fetus also there. I laughed to myself that whole day. Nothing. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
There was a zombie fetus on that screen, and probably no one even knew what it was.
You're damn right, and that's awesome. That's awesome, though. Oh my God, that's great.
Glorious.
So I've been talking your head off here. We are a little bit over an hour. Selfishly, I've asked all of my questions, but do you mind spending some? We'll do like a rapid fire questions for the audience here.
Yeah. I'm game.
Okay, cool. Okay, rapid fire. Here we go. So, do you own any NFTs of anyone else's?
Oh yeah, I own a bunch of them.
Awesome. Who's some of your favorites?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here.
I know.
Well, if you go to OpenSea, you'll see all the stuff I got.
Okay.
Go to OpenSea and go to Arsenic Lullaby. The arseniclullaby.com. I keep meaning to. There's a page there that's sort of just devoted to NFTs, but it's only devoted to my NFTs. but once this week is over and I got a couple of minutes, I wanted to put my own gallery up there and put all the stuff so you can see all the ones I've collected.
Nice.
But
okay.
yeah, when something, I don't have anything particular that I look for, but just something will catch my eye, maybe a technique or a way a composition was laid out, or something will grab me and I'll go, wow, that's a really interesting way of doing that, and I'll grab that fucker.
That's awesome. I'll send you there's a really cool place to do kind of your own metaverse gallery. It's really super simple to set up.
That would be great.
I'll send you that.
It's one of those things on my list of things to do, and then another deadline will come up, and another deadline will come up. But I definitely want to do that because all the ones that I got, I'm really proud of it for different reasons.
Cool.
Everything about every one of them has something about them where like that's a really interesting way of doing something.
Yeah, maybe we can even show the community afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. What has inspired you to start animating some of your works? And okay. So it's kind of a two-part question. So what inspired you to animate some of your works and keep others just stagnant?
Well, animating them to me was a natural progression, because I have sort of an old school look, and as far as adding a different element to it that's available to me, animating seems like a logical step. And also, I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller, so that helps to tell the story. Like the little ceremony we saw, I was able to tell just a little bit of a story there, just a fragment of time. And so animating is sort of an obvious way of doing that. And the ones I don't animate, maybe I didn't have a story to tell, or I felt it was better as a static image, or there was just something about it that I think spoke well enough without it being animated. Like the piece I explained earlier that I'm doing for Devil's Due with like moving the page around and stuff. That's gonna have elements of different tones and lighting and stuff like that. That's not gonna be animated because I want it to be like a frozen moment in time, just like a shutter shot, and just have enough changes in tones to have the eye moving around it. I don't really want it to be something that's continually happening. I just want it to be a blurb, and then I'm using different elements to make it interesting in different ways, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes
I guess it boils down to what am I trying to express in the image, and is animation going to help it or not?
Yeah, that makes total sense. Let's see here. You answered a few of these already, so
you don't let me talk long enough. I will answer anything that people have already. Eventually, I'll cross over into something someone was thinking.
Okay, I apologize, folks. The ones he's already answered, I'm just going to skip. Apart from OpenSea, so you're on OpenSea, you're on Maker's Place. Are you on anywhere else? Are you venturing to anywhere else?
I'm on Rarible.
Rarible, yeah.
There's one, and I forget the name of it. George is on there, where you can make them programmable.
Oh, yeah. Boy. Yeah,
that's the next one I want to do. I mean, I work so slow.
Async.
That's the one.
Yep, async.
You know, it works so slow. I can't really be on a bunch of different platforms. Like there's other people who are more proficient for whatever reason, and they can be on 5 or 6 platforms and just keep pumping stuff out. It takes me a long time to craft one of these. So I'm mostly on Maker's Place and occasionally OpenSea, but I do want to jump on there because I've got some ideas for the programmable NFTs, definitely, that I want to try.
Okay, tell me before you go on, because like I said, I'm still kicking my ass over that other piece. Let's see. Okay. Oh, have you ever thought of doing like if you sell an NFT, have you ever thought of giving away some hand-drawn art?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was defeat the purpose or not, because I've got, you know, I will happily mail a giant stack. Here, have it. I'll just take it all. But like with the whale one and the ceremony one, there is like 1 or 2 illustrations that would look fine just by themselves. So I've thought about that, and I might do it on the next one. I'm open to what anybody else thinks about that, because it almost seems counterproductive, but maybe it helps. I don't know.
So wait, you're saying that I missed out on that piece and I might be able to get the hand-drawn illustrated one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's right over there.
Even right a copy of it, I'd be happy.
Right, I got it right over there. There's a bunch of hard drives sitting on it that I had to move out of the way.
That would be pretty cool.
Grab it. Any amount of original artwork in my office is in a very precarious position at all times. Anything can be knocked over or stepped on. Oh, when I was doing those swirls for the background, of this NFT, you know, with the big blob of paint, I had to do that. I did that like 2 or 3 times, not really out of madness, but just as, you know, I'm doing quick swirls. Let's do a bunch and see how they turn out. You know. And then one that I liked a lot, I go, oh, this one's pretty cool. I went to grab my coffee and I hit the floor face down and collected all sorts of crap. Well, I guess I'm not using that one.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, good thing I made 3 of them.
Okay, let's see. We got... Okay.
Can I answer the question or just derail it complaining about my office?
No. That's exactly what we wanted. You've already answered that one. You already said, okay.
Yeah, I'm completely open to it, and I'm thinking about it as long as it's not a stupid idea.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say that those ComicCon people that you're sitting in the booth with talking about 30 minutes, whatever, they would love it. Just throwing that out there. But this Rascal Night. Have you heard of this guy named Nightmare?
Yeah, I think I've heard him spoken of once or twice. Perhaps
I've heard of him too. He
sounds familiar.
He sounds familiar. He asked a question: anything memorable that was nixed by Mad Magazine or a big platform for being too edgy, but was awesome and you wish was published?
Absolutely. Countless pages. I can tell you exactly the one with Mad where I started thinking to myself, I don't think this is a good fit. I don't know if this is going to last too long. There was, and it's edgy dark humor. That's what Arsenic Lullaby is about. It's look, you can either be miserable and horrified or you can laugh, right? Those are basically the 2 options because the world is a terrible place. So there was the tsunami in Japan. This was quite a while ago now, 5 years ago or something like that. Maybe longer.
Yeah.
Does everybody remember that?
I remember it. Yep, I remember.
Leveled the city. So I had a page that I sent to them, and it was Godzilla slowly coming out of the ocean, right? And it said tsunamis, or Japan after the tsunami, 3 weeks after the tsunami, or something like that. You see Godzilla coming out of the ocean, and he goes into the city, and the city is already destroyed by the tsunami. He's like looking around. Everything's already ruined. So he gets his little camera out and goes, rah! And takes a picture, and then he's showing King Kong and all the other guys like taking credit for having destroyed the city. Like, look what I did!
Oh my God.
So, the joke obviously being that Godzilla went and just took credit for all this destruction, even though he had nothing to do with it. It was already done.
Yeah.
It was everybody I've showed that to, I eventually published it on my own, and it's one of the things that's, one of the high points for people of all the work I've done. And I could not get Mad Magazine to take it.
Really?
They would not do it.
That's something, because boy, they're pretty edgy usually. That's
yeah, and
wow.
it depends on what's in the coffee that day, because they've taken worse stuff than that. I sent them a page with a teddy bear tearing a little kid apart, and they asked for more gore. Well, can you make it gorier? Can you have like some guts and stuff? I'm like, yeah, you bet, absolutely. Don't even worry about it. I'll put plenty of gore on there. So I don't know what it was about that one, but they just would not do it. I'm like, you are missing out. What this is good stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
that one really annoyed the crap out of me. Okay. That was the point. I said, okay, they don't know what they're doing. They just last week took something way worse than this, but they won't take this. And this is actually funnier and more clever. Whatever, guys.
So then the next question that's not from Nightmare is, do you still have this piece, and would you ever consider it making into an NFT?
I don't have the physical piece anymore. I would make it into an NFT, but I'm not sure about the copyright with Godzilla.
Okay.
Maybe. I would have to look at. I think it's probably fine, because it would have been fine with Mad because it's a parody.
Right.
And it was fine in my own because it was a parody. So I think I just answered my own question. Yeah, it would be fine. I should do that. Yes.
You could even do Whale Kong in there.
Yeah, because when he went and showed the picture off to, it was King. He showed it off to King Kong and Mechagodzilla and Ghidorah. So I could put Whale Kong in there, just with a bunch of them going, "Oh yeah, good job, buddy!" Whoa.
Yeah. Dude, okay. I like that. So
I forgot all about that one. That was a good question. Now I'm going to be angry all day.
I know. As much crap as I give Nightmare all the time, he usually comes up with some good stuff.
Yeah, that was.
Am I still recording this? Oh well. He got it on tape. I do like it, I guess. So yeah, I think that you answered a bunch of these. Own NFTs. Yeah, so we talked about that. We did that. Yeah, I mean we hit a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we've done good work here today.
We've done good work. We're almost going for an hour and a half, way longer than any of Nightmare's videos or interviews.
It's hard to shut me up once you start me talking.
No, it's okay. And I do. So I said at the beginning that you're a level-headed dude. And I say this because you were on that panel a while ago with we had with those artists that were thinking about coming into the NFT space. Real nice people. And your practical approach, the question about the environment and whatnot, your practical approach to everything that happens in the real world when we do print stuff out. That's why I said you're a super level-headed dude when it comes to understanding that we already do this crazy stuff in the real world, and we're discovering this new technology. And yeah, it's not the best at the moment, but give it time. I mean, we've just this paper stuff we've been doing for years. Okay, that's not great for the environment. Duh. But now we're kind of moving on.
Yeah. Well, I'm sort of a big picture type person.
Yeah.
And a lot of the criticisms that were being leveled at NFTs as far as environmental things were acting as though NFTs exist in a vacuum. Cryptocurrency exists in a vacuum. It does not. So if I publish a comic book as an NFT, I'm using X amount of electricity, right?
Yeah.
If I publish a comic book in real life, last print run I did, 2 tons of paper, I think.
Yeah.
Like literal.
Yeah.
So like imagine a car, a stack of paper the size of a car. That's what it was. And then that paper didn't just come out of nowhere. Trees had to be cut down. Energy had to be used for that. It had to be pulped with a bunch of scary chemicals. So that factory had to go on. And then it had to be shipped to a printer. An industrial printing press had to run for 8 to 10 hours.
Oh,
and then there's the logistics of getting that finished product to the stores, or first to a distributor, and then from the distributor to the store. And then the customer has to go to the store and then come back. And then there's all the electricity being used for all of those other elements in the peripherals. It's like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? the tiny fraction of electricity used to make this NFT through the blockchain and someone to own it is a drop in the bucket compared to the deluge of what happens to the environment when I publish a comic book. It's almost frightening to think about.
I know.
Like, what are you talking about?
I know, and I love that. I love your perspective about it, and that's why I say that you get it. You get it, and even it shows in your work. Like we talked about the the witch doctor. I mean, you get it, and that's what makes your work so special. And with that, I think we should close out. I got people staring at me virtually saying, "Hey, it's time." But yeah, I mean, it's like, look, you're paving the way. If you get a chance to, if you're a viewer and get a chance to go to the International ComicCon virtually, awesome. Check out the work here. This is awesome history being made with probably the first NFT that has ever happened at a Comic-Con, and in the first of many, I think. So yeah, check it out, and come back after and tell us how it went.
I will do so.
We want to see.
I will break your heart with the comparison of Comic-Con online compared to what we're doing. But thanks a ton for having me on, and this was a lot of fun. And everybody, if you're curious, I'm going to just plug again because I got to, arseniclullaby.com. Just go there. There's a big image in the first page. Click on that, and it's all NFT stuff that I've done and is going on, and you can see the madness that goes into it.
That's awesome. And like in 10 years, I'm going to be talking to somebody somewhere, hopefully, and they're going to say, "Hey, didn't you do that interview with the guy who did the first comic book NFT at a Comic-Con?"
The guy who went nuts. The guy who lost his mind. Remember, he was just on the news. Didn't you know him?
Didn't he have like a zombie fetus in there?
Well, what was the first NFT? Good luck trying to rewrite that history. What was the first NFT ever? What is that little guy?
He's a zombie fetus.
What? Yes. Enjoy the black mark that I'm laying.
Oh man, that's great. All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for having me on.